Hello, everybody. Welcome to Monday. The S&P 500 was down 0.3% today. Kind of a flat day again. You can tell the market's just waiting. This is a big week. We got the election, of course, tomorrow, and we've got the Federal Reserve coming out on the 7th, talking about what they're going to do in terms of cutting rates. Right now, the expectation is a quarter point cut. Two things the market's going to want to see before it really starts to take on more risk, so to speak, and maybe some more money coming in. One other scenario we got to play out here is the fact that we might not know who wins right away. The market's probably going to be a little bit cautious heading into this anyway because of that. Polls show that it's tight. We'll see what actually happens. But if it is tight, maybe it gets contested and there's kind of an ongoing thing. I remember in 2000 with Al Gore and George Bush Jr., they had that, very close election, the hanging chads in Florida, finally decided actually by the Supreme Court, and the market, was kind of volatile in that time frame. Unfortunately, it's not a great time frame to look at because it already started down. The 2000 downturn was already, about a quarter of the way through before this, election thing happened. So, if we look back at January 6th during the, situation that happened in the Capitol, market went up that day. It went up January 7th. So it's going to be interesting to see if we do have a disputed election, how that might affect the normal bump that we get from, the market after the election is over. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out as far as that goes. But there's enough uncertainty and things like that, and things that scenarios that we can make up and talk about, like who gets the Senate, and all these different things, and how that might impact policy and different tax rates and those type of things. That a lot of people aren't going to want to jump in here, want to wait and see, and that is usually why we see a week 60 days prior to the election, just because of that. And again, one of the reasons we see a big jump is because that money does eventually come in. It just comes in a more concentrated fashion towards the end of the year. Again, I mentioned before that this 60-day period has actually been quite good altogether prior to the election, but we had a rate cut in here, so a little bit different as far as that goes. So I'm thinking that, the market's probably going to sit around tomorrow too. I wouldn't be surprised, just because, we're not going to know anything until, tomorrow night at best, if that. I think it took about a week, as I recall, for the 2020 election to finally, get to a point where somebody was declared the winner, at least for the presidency. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on right now. It's not a bad time at all. Market's still hanging in there. We're very close to the all-time high, which I think is great. Earnings have been coming in still throughout the earnings season here, still looking good as far as that goes. Again, the market is not in a great mood. There's not a lot of cash flow coming in like there usually is, just because of the election and what have you. But overall, I think that's going to give a reason for the market to kind of bounce up pretty heavily, is right after the election. If things do, finally get clear as to who won, that money can come in, knowing that we just had a good earnings season, or we're still having one that technically, as far as that goes. But, the ones that have happened so far have been pretty good. So anyway, that's what's going on right now. Look forward to being able to see what's going to happen tomorrow. We'll talk to you then. Thank you.